Hello and welcome to all. My name is Gursimran S Kochhar. I'm one of the therapeutic endoscopy at Allegheny Health Network. I, along with my colleagues, will be discussing with you our article, Assessing Perspectives on Artificial Intelligence Applications to Gastroenterology. Neil, please introduce yourself.
Great. My name is Neil Carleton. I'm currently a medical student at the University of Pittsburgh and went to Carnegie Mellon University for my undergrad.
Thanks. And I'm Shyam Thakkar, Director of Advanced Therapeutic Endoscopy at West Virginia University and an adjunct faculty at Carnegie Mellon University as well.
Great. So let's start by discussing the study briefly. And Dr. Kochhar, I'll turn it over to you first to discuss the aims and objectives.
Yes, thank you. So, we wanted to understand what is the perspective of artificial intelligence when it comes to our gastroenterology colleagues. Artificial intelligence is not only the future of healthcare as we understand it's in the current moment, and we wanted to make sure that gastroenterologists are up to date with that. So we've created a question survey of 30 questions, which we then administer to the users who are already involved with artificial intelligence to get their perspective as to what do they think from their standpoint. And the questions were designed also for new users who are not currently into artificial intelligence as to what would they like to see for them to be involved with artificial intelligence. We then sent this survey out to more than 600 physicians via an internal email list that we had, we have made here at our center. We also distribute the survey to the fellows who, different program directors across entire US. And then we also shared our survey links on Twitter and LinkedIn to even engage a wider audience to get their perspective. And we had very encouraging results with more than 200 participants replying to our questions. I will now hand it over to my colleague, Shyam, to discuss some landmark findings from our study.
Yeah, thank you, Simran. We were very impressed with some of the outcomes from the survey, particularly the different areas of focus with respect to the respondents. Not surprisingly, one area that respondents felt was most important to focus on was polyp detection and polyp characterization when it came to screening colonoscopy. And as we know, this has been an area of continued focus in our fields by our societies to optimize screening colonoscopy. Additionally, what we found in respondents from our survey when it came to artificial intelligence in gastroenterology were the barriers associated. And most felt that there was a limit of time and limit of financial support. And interestingly, when it came to this concern of financial support, the perception amongst gastroenterologists to start an artificial intelligence project, was that it would take more than $100,000. Six-figure sum was the majority of respondents felt was the highest percentage response would be the financial investment required. And what we know is from different groups that that's not truly the case. Our own experience as well from the work that we did in collaboration with Carnegie Mellon University, what we found was that the initial pilot funding or the seed funding is much smaller and can be used to generate further funding down the road. But it's really that pilot funding that really kickstarts a project in artificial intelligence. Just a couple other quick points to touch on. Some of the concerns raised by gastroenterologists were that, perhaps artificial intelligence could replace a physician down the line. However, that being said, they felt also that the natural progress of artificial intelligence will be of high value to the patient. So though there was that concern, this benefit seemed to outweigh that by the respondents and is encouraging for the healthy adoption of artificial intelligence.
Excellent. Great summary from Dr. Thakkar. So now in the figure, we discuss how to integrate AI into clinical practice. So Dr. Kochhar, can you discuss some of the important steps from this figure for a successful integration?
Yes, I think this figure will be very important for our readers, in which we discuss how to incorporate AI into your GI department. As with anything that comes new, you have to first educate yourself with the terms and the findings and the various nuances associated with that. So first process will be to educate yourself for AI. After that, we recommend that you consult with the experts in the field. That will also help you to collaborate, especially if you're at a center where you do not have AI capabilities in your center available to start a project with them. You need to finalize and identify a topic that you think is going to be very useful for AI. And once you have collaborated with the experts, then you can test assess and validate whether the clinical problem can be resolved satisfactorily with the AI developed system or not. And then finally, you also have to protect your intellectual property through the patent process. This way you can ensure that your research belongs to you. And once you have finalized this thing, you also want to ensure that you publish your research at various national meetings and in peer-reviewed journals for others to review.
Excellent. Thank you, Dr. Kochhar. So now, as a result of this study, what comes next? And this can be from both the individual level and the society level. So Dr. Tucker, we'll start with you on this one.
Yeah, great question. I think, Simran talked about, the first step in the figure, which is really educating ourselves. And so how do we do that? Our societies have taken made a serious effort to help adopt artificial intelligence in GI, in endoscopy, and in doing so by educating the public and bringing collaborations together. In fact, through our survey, more than 80% felt that our societies should make this move, and just as they felt that response, that in reality is happening. The ASGE has created a task force focused on artificial intelligence. Additionally, there's been an annual global summit that has been organized, and this has occurred for the second year in a row. This year it actually occurred virtually, obviously through the COVID restrictions, but nonetheless was very well received, and we saw some excellent participants in that program. Finally, there's a computer-aided detection or diagnosis meeting that occurs on an annual basis at Digestive Disease Week. And we've seen that meeting grow from just 20 people to over 200 a year ago at DDW. And we anticipate further growth with the opportunity to further educate and further collaborate with members of our societies. Simran?
Perfect. Yes, I completely agree with those points. We also need to ensure, based on our survey results, we found that 80% of our respondents in AI interested were males. So we clearly have to reach out to our female colleagues to involve them in this process early. The second point was also that a lot of our respondents were early in their career or junior investigators. If AI really has to truly make an impact, we probably have to ensure that we reach to across all the aisles and involve everybody, whether they have been in the career for longer than 20 years or they are junior faculty. And as with anything, we have to develop curriculums to teach our fellows about AI early in their fellowship so that they feel comfortable to be involved in these projects.
Great response. Yep. So thank you both. I think that concludes our video, and thank you for listening.
Thank you. And I would also like to thank Gastrointestinal Endoscopy Journal and Dr. Mike Wallace for giving us this opportunity to share our research with all the GI readers. Thank you.
Yes, and thank you both for being excellent collaborators.